Hello, squires and interested viewers. Today I wanted to introduce you to a homebrew rule that I like in terms of playing in a setting with many languages. It covers how to learn them based on your character, play with different levels of mastery, and most importantly, it's easy to do and can be adapted for every game you're playing, even the homemade ones. But keep in mind that even though I made it up, I don't claim ownership of it. Someone probably thought of something similar before and made a clearer explanation of it somewhere. It may even be in an official book for all I know. Furthermore, it may be an optional rule. It is also homebrewed. Should you want to play it, please communicate about it with the rest of the people at your table. So, without further ado, the rule of the 4 steps. First, take your character, visualize them, and think about what makes them special. Now, read the 4 sentences here and try to see which one matches more with them. 4. My character has a hard time learning new things. 3. My character can learn new things, but it requires deep focus. 2. My character can learn new things easily when they have the resources to. 1. It is fairly easy for my character to learn new skills, even under pressure. Once it's done, attribute the number to your character. Add a 0 behind it, and voila! You have the number of learning occasions your character needs to progress in a language. What's a learning occasion? Well, that is for you and your GM to decide. It can range from a couple hours of study of a book about that language to an hour with a proper teacher or native friend trying to teach you. Maybe a day trying to blend in surrounded by people who only speak this language. Look for the opportunities coming your way or try to make them. Now, here are the 4 steps of progress you can go through. Beginner. Being a beginner means your character can survive alone for a couple days or maybe weeks in a place where this language is the only one spoken. Not knowing more makes it difficult but not impossible. This is a good level to survive but not live. Average. Having the average level means you can live in a place where this language is spoken fluently and still have a comfortable life. But unfortunately, you are not always aware of what is said around you and miss on a lot of opportunities. Fluent. Being fluent means you have respectable command of the language. You even know a couple of expressions and abbreviations. When you put your back into it, especially accent-wise, you may appear native for a couple minutes. You not only know most of the language, but also the nuances of its grammar and vocabulary. Native. Your mastery of the language is akin to one of someone who was born speaking it. Maybe you are, actually. If you pay attention, your accent may not slip for a long period of time. Should you have one, of course. Need an example? Allons-y. Meet Samriel Brightmeadow, sorcerer of the Brightmeadow family, out and about to live adventures and honor his family's name. He can learn new things, but it requires deep focus out of him. Therefore, he is a 3 and shall need 30 occasions to move from one level to the next. As a child, he learned a little of the Dwarvish tongue with a friend, so let's say he's a beginner in Dwarvish. Samriel now has to go through 30 learning occasions to progress from beginner to average. He'll spend the first 15 of them by buying a book teaching the basics of the Dwarvish language and spend an hour before sleep every night to progress. The remaining 15, maybe he'll spend them by hanging out with the Dwarven tavern keeper, when the quest is done, of course. When 30 occasions were spent, he restarts the counter to go from average to fluent. If this rule seems too long, or on the contrary too fast, feel free to adapt or make it more complex. What if the language is long forgotten? Then the requirement to go from fluent to native has to be that the occasions your character has to go through must be supervised by the last speaker of the language. Or maybe double the amount. Or perhaps, to complete an occasion, your character has to roll a die to decide if the occasion has been validated. Too punitive? How about a roll to move from one level to the next? This is not but the blank sheet of a rule for you to play with. If you're interested in a setting with many languages to try your version of this rule, please watch the rest of my tales about a place called Elderia, and do tell in the comments what you think of it. I'm curious. Was the Knight from Elderia? Happy to serve.